In this video, we're going to use what we call the laser tools: rewrite, describe, and you don't see it up here, but expand is one of them that we're going to use. And these are really useful for editing. That's typically when I use them the most, bringing in a story and just really trying to refine a scene. So you can see here, I have a chapter from a story I did inside Story Engine. This was an experimental chapter. I was playing with another user, Marigold, and we were actually doing our whole story inside one box. So we have lots of words to play with, over 20,000. So I'm just going to turn this off because I want to get rid of this box and just have my prose here. And now we are going to start modifying this. There are different things we can do, and we're going to play around mostly with customizing rewrite, but I'll show you some things we can do. Let's see. I'm just looking. I'm going to highlight these, and I will click rewrite here. I've got some options that'll auto-populate. Can rephrase, make it shorter, more descriptive, show not tell, inner conflict, intense, and then the customize. So for this one, let's do more descriptive. And you can kind of see what it'll do for you. Oh, click go. Soft mist of water hung in the air, making the stone floor slick and cool. Alicia's bare feet slapped against the damp surface, a varying tempo that matched her racing heartbeat. The rhythm of her heart became louder and louder, like drums beating out an alarm. Soon enough, her ears picked up on another sound. Footsteps echoing down the corridor outside of her cell door. They came closer until they were right outside the metal door. The silence was broken by a key grating in a lock and the door creaking open. This is okay. One thing I want you to note too, you'll see I have 2 cards. Now, I had my settings for 2 cards, but also rewrite tends to do 2 no matter what. If you just have 1 card in your write settings over here, that does not matter. You will get 2 from the rewrite. Let's see it paste. This one didn't change much. You can see what it's changed with these purple words. Okay, this is not following it at all. So we're just going to thumbs down that one. I like this one. I don't like all of it, but I do like some of it. So I can definitely work with this. Now you see how I have all of this stuff highlighted right here in purple. If I were to click insert, it's going to replace all of that stuff I have highlighted. So if I just want to add it without replacing, I want to make sure just my cursor is here and I don't have anything highlighted, because again, anything highlighted will get replaced. And I'm going to put it here just so I could mess with that later. I'm just going to insert that. And then I would actually combine in my editing process to take the portions that I like, combine it with what I already had written. We're not in that video, so I'm just going to keep going and show you some other things we can do with rewrite. Let's see. So I want to change this. I like the dialogue there, but it needs something else. We're going to try customize. I'm going to go rewrite and do customize here. And I'm going to say rewrite to be snarky. Let's see. Didn't really change much. So, original content: the guard snorted like a dog lapping at its bowl. His companion chuckled. Now it's: the guard sneered like a hound licking its bowl. His friend guffawed. Or the guard scoffed. You're nothing more than a mutt guzzling food. Not great, but again, it would give me ideas for everything. I'm just looking. I do like this one. That one came out better. So I could always just grab this portion right here, copy that over, and again, have it for later when I'm doing things. Let's scroll down and do some more other rewrite features. All right, Lysia followed Jackson through the twisting corridors of the dungeon, her heart pounding with each step. He moved swiftly but silently. Now, again, I haven't made any edits at all. This came straight from Inside Story Engine. So if I were to make my own edits first, put in my own wording, then that would be more in line or give me better results from these cards. Again, this is just basically AI rewriting AI. Right, they reached a heavy wooden door leading to the courtyard. Jackson pressed his ear to the door, listening intently. After a moment, he nodded and eased it open. Okay, night air was crisp and cold. So I'm going to do all of this, and let's be more intense. All right, Alicia stumbled through the darkness behind Jackson, her breath coming in short gasps as he wound through the dank corridors of the dungeon. He moved with silent precision, his eyes darting left and right for any sign of danger. Last, they reached a large wooden door that led to the courtyard, pressed his ear against it, waiting for some sound before cautiously pushing it open. Night air was cold and crisp again. So not bad, not a lot of changes there towards the end. Opening was a little bit better. This one looks like it has more changes. Lysia's blood raced through her veins as she followed Jackson through the curving hallways of the dungeon. His steps were sure and silent, an eagle eye peering out for any sign of danger. At last, their journey ended at a sturdy wooden door that led to the courtyard. I don't like that sentence at all. This way ran like a wild animal, staying hidden in the shadows. Okay, so I like this ending. I'm going to take this, copy it in here. And then I also like this beginning. And again, I'm just copying it here and highlighting because only one portions, but if you wanted the whole thing, you can just insert or you could click to copy the whole thing and paste it in, whatever you wanted to do. Let's look at some other options here. Jackson parried another blow, forcing the king back a step. So we're going to rewrite this one, and let's see if this customize phrasing works. Rewrite to no, let's do this one. Yeah, let's do this one. Customize. Rewrite to be less cliche. Let's see how that works. Original is Halt. The vampire king emerged from the keep, crimson eyes glowing. A sword appeared in his hand as if by magic. You will not escape me again, Jackson. And the options for replacement are a thunderous silence filled the air as the figure emerged from the castle keep. His pallid skin shone like porcelain in the moonlight, his red eyes glinting with a devious intent. In an instant, a long sword materialized in his hands, and he spoke, his deep baritone voice resounding off the walls. Your escape ends here, Jackson. Not bad. And you'll notice the red eyes. He doesn't actually have red eyes. That is one of the future updates where Rewrite will start pulling in your story Bible information. So it'll know what your characters look like. It'll know your genre that you're writing in. But as of right now, Rewrite just reads what you have and does what it says, rewrites it. So it isn't aware that my character doesn't have red eyes. Other option, cease. The vampire commander appeared from the castle. I don't like how it changed it from king to commander. And steel. Okay. An ornate sword seemed to dance into his hand, and I see why he's pulling the red eyes in, because, again, I did not check since I just pulled this directly from the AI and never edited it yet. Crimson eyes here. An ornate sword seemed to dance into his hand as if wielded by an invisible force. Okay, so I like this ending better. Okay. So I would insert that. And then I kind of like this one, so I'm just going to save it. Portions of it. So this is how you can reuse or use the laser tools right here. Let's go into some description. Let's see. I want to expand this one first, and we can do a little fight scene, hopefully. So I'm just going to expand that. All right, so Jackson sees the opening, launches the counterattack. I like this a lot better, definitely. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so I'm just going to insert that. I like it better. And let's see what we can describe in this one. Okay, so I'm going to describe this. Now for describe, you're going to see all of these coming up on the card right here. But if you click the drop down arrow, you can turn them off. Now, if you ever need them again, you'll need to go in and turn them back on. But I normally just leave them on. So we have all of the senses and metaphors. And an interesting thing about metaphors, if you actually want to take them, let's scroll down and see what our metaphor was. King's fall broke the circle that had surrounded him like a crescent moon, a circle of blood, a circle of pain, a circle of sacrifice, with all its lights and shadows. That's actually not bad. So the interesting with metaphors is you can take this output and try putting it in Midjourney and see what image it creates for you. You might get some really good marketing images out of it. All right, so let's check out touch. Jackson's fingers grasped the hilt of a sword, buried up to the pommel in the king's chest, and yanked it free. I don't believe that's correct, but we're going to go with it. His hand comes away streaked with crimson, the king's blood sticky and crimson. Not so good, needs work, but I do like the opening right there. The cold hand that slipped around her throat, gripping tight and merciless. Down this, something seems off with it. Sound. King lets out a gasp of agony, his last breath gurgling as it leaves his lungs. It was the sound of defeat, of a lifelong quest cut short. Jackson raised his sword above his head and brought it down with a powerful slam, severing the king's head from his shoulders. The king's pain echoed in his cry of agony. It was the sound of someone who had been stabbed in the heart and was now desperately trying to hold back the waves of death that were desperately trying to pull him under. I'm going to save that one. I like it. I want to go ahead and save it for future use. Taste. The taste of the king's blood lingered on Jackson's lips and tongue like a morsel of victory that he'd savored forever. The metallic taste of blood in her mouth, the king's blood as it dripped from the wound in his chest. The king's blood was hot like lava. It coated Jackson's throat, the taste of metal and burn. Okay. Smell. King's blood filled the air with the scent of iron like rusting metal. The stench of scorched flesh filled the air, the smell of dying and rotting. The king's blood reeked of copper, tasted hot and metallic. And lastly, sight. Jackson's sword slips through the king's chest like a knife through butter, the hilt protruding from the other side. It was nearly effortless, swift and confident. Jackson's sword sliced effortlessly through the iron-hard hide of the vampire's chest as if he'd struck a pool of water. King stumbled back with a gasp of agony and surprise before collapsing to the ground. I like this line right here. So again, I'm just going to save this one for my edits later on. Let's see what we have not done so I can just show y'all those real quick. Let me highlight some so I can get to pull up. So we can do rephrase, shorter, more descriptive, show not tell, inner conflict. Let's see. I'm going to have this one do more inner conflict. And I encourage you to just play around with these. Like I always say, if you're just starting out inside Sudowrite, it's really best to start with a story from scratch. I recommend like fairy tales. They're short. You know how the original went. So you could always make changes right on the spot. You can decide, in one episode we did, Cinderella was a serial killer. She wasn't that victim that the fairy tales painted her to be. So you can change things up as much as you want. They fit various genres. We did Creepy Pinocchio. He was a horror one. We did Reverse Harem for Goldilocks and the Three Bears. They were Shifter brothers. So you can change things up. Play around with the fairy tales. Just do a short little story. In another video, I could show you how to kind of one-shot it so you have a story all at once. And then you could come in and use that story to play with these laser tools and get a feel for everything. So this is the inner conflict. Jackson's face was tight with rage, his body shaking, but despite the emotions seething inside of him, he slowly lowered himself to the ground. I like that a lot. Jackson's face contorted with a mix of emotions, rage and despair, his fist clenched while he struggled with himself. He wanted to lash out, to break something or someone, but instead he fell to his knees. He felt his knees weakening under him as he slowly sank. I like both of those, actually. So I'm just going to mark those. And we're hitting the 20-minute mark. And again, y'all can go through this, so I don't want to take up the time when it's easier, better for y'all for a learning experience if y'all kind of come in here and play. But now you understand how you can easily just go through, select a portion, and start refining it with rewrite. You can get some additional ideas from describe. You can use expand to make some portions bigger and all of that. And we will jump into some more Sudowrite tools in the next video.